still raining in Tampa. Again, right, say still, but again, we have more rain coming back into Tampa. Take a look outside right now. We've got wet, let's see what's going on. We just changed the vantage point. Let's see, were we at the terminal, cruise terminal? Hard to see. Well, hard to see because the visibility is reduced because of the rain. And in fact, we're dealing with not just rain, but thunderstorms. And this picture was shared with me on Twitter. I'm going to share it with you. Thanks so much here for sharing this, because this is from Sanibel Island. And the caption is "Something wicked this way comes." This shelf cloud rolling in out ahead of the thunderstorms that are tracking in. And here we go. That's what came your way down there in Sanibel. So you can see there's thunder and lightning. Some heavy rain with that as well, probably some gusty winds. There was a special marine warning up for some of this earlier, with winds potentially up to about 35 miles per hour. Not severe, but you know, you don't want to be out in a boat in this kind of weather. And we're tracking this in right now here into the west coast of Florida. So when we put the radar into future forecast mode, this is what's expected later today. You can see there's some semblance of a spin out here, sort of a weak little low pressure, mid to low level low pressure. That's going to help continue to pump in the moisture, but eventually some of those storms make their way over to the other side of the peninsula. So Orlando and Jacksonville, we've got a chance for that later today as well. You know, the whole southeast in general, though, there's a broader upper level low, and that, as it retrogrades west, is going to help continue draw in moisture. So for today, Charleston, you've got a pretty good chance of getting showers and thunderstorms. Myrtle Beach down to Hilton Head, all a chance. Tomorrow, there's a chance that more of the southeast will get in on the wet weather. And at the beach, speaking of Myrtle Beach, we've got that rip current risk. It's actually a moderate rip current risk all the way down here the southeastern coast into Florida as well. We've just had this persistent onshore flow. And when you get that, you get the water that piles up, and especially when you get days of it like we've had, you get that concern for the rip current risk. So be careful at the beach today. Enjoy your last unofficial day of summer, but be careful. All right, Chris, we also have a lot of heat to talk about. This last week in Gulf Shores, you know, purple for marine pests.
Right, it could be
jellyfish.
Big pest. You ask the lifeguard what the purple's for.
Big pest with sharp teeth.
Yeah, jellyfish are the more common marine pest out there. But you know, a more common threat is not sharks, it's rip currents.
Right.
If you're going to the beaches, this is what what you need to be concerned about, and watch the water, watch the lifeguards, and see what they're recommending where you swim and how far out you go. Moderate threat, Long Island, South beaches today, like Jones Beach, Ocean City, Maryland. We have a moderate threat as well. We go down here into the southeast here. This is where we also have a moderate to higher risk for rip currents. Myrtle Beach, Hilton Head, got to watch that. All the way down the beaches here, like Cocoa Beach, Miami Beach, South Beach. We've got to be concerned about that rip current risk as well. And even on the west coast, you know, we saw some bigger waves lately. We're going to be watching this as well. It's going to be that longshore current that's going to be a factor for us in the beaches here on the west coast. Speaking of the west, we actually got a big heat wave coming up later this week. We'll have
Carfagno, nothing gets by her, nothing.
All right. Well, speaking of not getting by, let's look at the west forecast. I don't want to let you get out the door without.
I thought you were going to say nobody got by Penn State this weekend, but that's another story.
Ooh,
yeah. Okay.
I did want to tell Reagan, congratulations.
Them fighting words, Cantori. Them fighting words.
Reagan, she's in New York.
Yes. Reagan went to Temple. We'll say that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about what's happening in the West. Let's not talk about football. Let's talk about the drought. I actually want you to take a look at this picture for a minute and look out in the distance. You got Lake Tahoe, and it should be all the way up here, if not even farther, but it should be at least up to where the guy in the orange shirt is standing. And look how far it is back here. So the drought is such a huge story. We know that, but when we see scenes like this, it's just another example of how the drought is impacting us. Let's see, another one from Yosemite Falls. And this was taken over the weekend. The National Park Service shared this one. Maria LaRosa retweeted it. There's nothing falling at the falls. Again, lack of water. And I know in the summertime sometimes this does happen, but you know, certainly it has been a concern that we have not had rain. We're still not in our season to get rain yet in the West. So that's not, I guess, as surprising. What's going to change this week is that we're going to bring in another ridge. We had a nice little break up in the northwest anyway, and did get some rain up into places like Seattle, but that's going to change as we see the trough that brought that in shift into the east. And so your weather will change by the end of the week in the northeast. But then in the west, that's going to mean that we heat up as a ridge builds over here. So temperatures going well above average all the way down into Southern California. Temperatures going up. LA, let's take a look at your your forecast. And this is for downtown Los Angeles, 91 on Tuesday, Wednesday, 95. We're talking heat wave because Thursday we've got temperatures in the 90s as well. And I bet you go a little farther inland, we'll have some triple digits to talk about in the southwest. Seattle, we warm up. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s, not that far above average. But then we get to the weekend and we hit 80 on Saturday. So nice weather, yes. But again, Chris, we've talked so much about how much they need the rain in the northwest.
And we've been talking a lot lately about the heat in the northeast. Totally different deal happening there.